Well, thank you, Aqua Foundation, for organizing this, and a very good afternoon to the chairperson and all the other dignitaries sitting over here. I am Safir, founder and CEO of TetherBox Technologies. We are primarily a data science-driven company, a software company, and I'm going to talk over here how 22 software engineers that works with me as a team solved a very big crisis at Bangalore. And it's a small journey. It's a journey that we had over the last 16 months. A lot of stakeholders were there. They were government, they were policymakers, they were private organizations that we were involved with, and the sort of revolution that we had brought in Bangalore. So Bangalore, when we're just talking about Bangalore, what comes to everyone's mind is a software hub, a place where people go make software, exports it, and make a lot of revenue out of it. So I personally stay at Bangalore, work at Bangalore, and what actually saddened me the most was, even though there are a lot of water sources in Bangalore, I still have to depend upon a tanker that comes to my place at 6 a.m. to give me water. So how is that related? Because when I'm having so much water around me, why am I not able to use it? And when I went to statistics, I found that there were close to 280 lakes and tanks around Bangalore in 1960s, and right now we are just standing at 59 of them that I can see it with my eyes, and and only 4 of them I can actually use and go touch without fearing skin allergies. So I delved deeper into this problem with the team that we were having, and found that Bangalore Lake, Ulsur Lake, everything is actually in the city center. It's not even far from the city, and let's just look at Bangalore Lake for now. Bangalore Lake is the largest lake in Bangalore city, the land of lakes. It's a beautiful garden city. So what happens in Bangalore Lake is something like this. Many of you might mistake it for something related like a snowfall, but actually this is foam. When a wind comes over there, that's it, people can't walk. People have to close their windows, people have to close their doors, people have to wear masks and walk on the bridges over there. So this was very, very saddening condition that we, as at least in software engineering, we were thinking somehow we could potentially help. And what about this? The same lake caught fire 2 years back. How bad of a situation is this for the public over there when a lake in public actually catches fire? Okay, this is not just the Bangalore Lake. What about something like Ulsur Lake? Ulsur Lake is 1.5 kilometers from MG Road, the city center of Bangalore. So what happens there? Our situations like this. Last March 15th, there were close to 1 lakh fishes floating on the surface of Ulsur Lake. Just to delve deeper, this was it. This was a place where there was boating, there were a lot of good activities. People come here for jogging early morning at 6 a.m., and this is what actually happened over there. So thinking about all this, we couldn't, as a team, even though we were developing softwares, we were like, we should do something about it. And this talk that I'm having is going to concentrate on how we changed Ulsur Lake from the one that I showed over here to something like this, with a smart solution, which is the theme of today's talk. And I would not dwell too much on the technology, but I would be happy to take on questions in technology, either in the panel or outside, as the time might be very, very, very limited over here. So what you see over here are floating devices with monitoring equipment installed in this, and it doesn't just stop there. Definitely, there needs to be some sort of action from this back to the river body or the lake body in order to clean it. And this is just actually Bangalore, one of the lakes in Bangalore. And we know that what we saw in Ulsur Lake was just a sort of end of the pipe, what actually happened over there. So where exactly is all this pollutants, industrial pollutants or domestic pollutants entering? And that's how we worked on it. And it was not Bangalore or Ulsur Lake. Every single lake in Bangalore had the same sort of problems, and this was not stopping. This was just going on, and then we went to the source of the problem. Where exactly is it coming from? Okay, we found that Bangalore, there are close to 10 million people over there in Bangalore right now, and rapid urbanization in Bangalore. A lot of domestic societies, housing colonies, a lot of builders who has actually made it their most revenue generating place, Bangalore. And it was not ending. There was, over the last 10 years, there has been a lot of dwellings that came in lake bodies, in river bodies, in public paths, and infrastructure hadn't developed to that extent. And it was not just residential colonies that actually grew. There were a lot of industrial colonies. Pina, those from Bangalore would realize that, the growth in Pina stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, it just goes on. Hoskote region, it was a tremendous improvement in the economy of, I would say, for the Bangalore economy. But what happened to the people? What happened to the lives of people over there in Bangalore economy? This was one of the treatment plants over there in one of the factories that I visited. My endeavor on finding out why exactly are we reaching up with problems like Alsur Lake. I went to visit one of them, and you know what? It was actually shut. There was no treatment happening. I had a question with the owner of the factory asking that, why are you shutting these plants? Why are you letting untreated sewage back to the water? And he gave me just one thing, this is just the cost. What can I do with it? I need to put some skilled person over here to automate this, to work with this. I really do not know how this is contributing to my revenue. It was actually genuine coming from a business owner, but it is not possible. Government has a lot of regulations in it, but how far is the government getting into? And that's when we thought, why don't we have some sort of solution? And we went back to KSPCB, that is Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, and found out there is already regulation on online monitoring systems. Every Section 17, those from the government would realize Section 17 industries needs to have online monitoring systems. Pharmaceutical, leather, dyeing industry, everything needs to be online monitored. The rules and regulations goes up to the extent that you might need to keep a web camera to see if there is any sort of bypass or tampering on there. But how many of them are actually doing it? And that's when we found out, if we could provide a foolproof solution for the government that they can monitor, at the same time, somehow make it monetizable for the companies, that would be the biggest value that we could add into the face of Bangalore's lake problem. And this is how we started the whole monitoring. We started with TDS monitoring, pH monitoring, turbidity. What we did, our systems over here did was transfer these data online to the pollution control boards. And it didn't end there. How was the company benefiting with this? The companies were benefiting out of this with the sort of analysis that we did with it. So ED analysis, cause-effect analysis, we did a lot of exploratory data analysis, finding out what are the cause of these problems, and why actually are we ending up, for example, chromium. Why are we actually ending up with chromium, arsenic in plants over there, when that is basically not supposed to be in water? Why are we actually ending up there? And this is how we found out that there is a value that we can add with software, telling the plant owners how to basically operate these plants, how to basically reduce the byproducts that ends up in this treatment plants. And it happens on a case-to-case basis. It is not entirely scalable currently because it requires a lot of effort from us. It requires 3 months of data. But yes, we are actually getting there. We are getting very close to the point that we can actually scale this at a very larger level, trying to tell every business owner why he needs to do treatment before he lets out the water into the rivers or lakes that surrounds it. And this was just Bangalore. How 22 people over the last couple of months basically had so much value added with the lake and treatment monitoring systems that we're doing. But what about a larger picture? We are at India, and I just came to Delhi a couple of days back. I've been looking at the Yamuna and Ganga river problems, talking to people over here, and understanding that there is so much that needs to be done here at India. And it needs to be done quickly because we do not have time. It needs to be done at the most affordable rates. And if it is not done, there is not going to become, what can I say? There's not going to become a single river body or lake body that anyone over here, we can enjoy. And thank you. I am a couple of minutes early, but thank you, sir, for the time, and thank you for organizing this. Thank you.